Objective for this section is I can graph equations in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. So remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where b is the y-intercept. That means it's where the line crosses the y-axis. And m is our slope. So let's do a few examples. The first one, let's do y equals 1/2 x minus 3. So I always begin with b. So remember, beginning starts with b, so I start with my b. On this equation, b is negative 3, because I have a minus 3 right here where it's supposed to be a plus. So my y-intercept is x is 0, y is negative 3. My line's going to cross the y-axis at negative 3. Then I find the slope. The slope is positive 1/2, because I have a 1/2 in front of the x. So then from that dot, I go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. And then I connect my dots to make a line. Alright, for number 2, let's do y equals negative 2x plus 4. So I begin with b. b is positive 4. So on the y-axis at positive 4, I'm going to put a dot. And then the slope is negative 2. But I want to write it as a fraction, so I'm going to put negative 2 over 1, because that tells me that from this dot I'm going down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1. Then I can make a line. Then, for example 3, let's do y equals x minus 4. So I begin with b. b is negative 4, so x is 0, y is negative 4. I go to my y-axis at negative 4, and I put a dot. Then, I'm looking for m, but there is no coefficient in front of the x. I remember that if there isn't a number, I can always add in a 1. 1 times x is the same as x. So that means the slope is 1, but to write 1 as a fraction, I do 1 over 1. So from this dot, I'm going to go up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1, and then there's my line. For the next one, I'm going to do y equals negative x plus 3. So I begin with b. b is 0, positive 3. So I put a dot on my y-axis at 3. And then there is no coefficient in front of the x, but I remember that I can add in a 1 there because negative 1 times x is the same as negative x. So my slope is negative 1, but to put it as a fraction, I'm going to do negative 1 over 1. So from this dot, I'm going to go down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1, because it's negative, I'm going down. Okay, for my next one, I'm going to do y equals 4. This one's a little bit different because it's not exactly in this form up here. But I can put it in that form because I could say 0 times x is 0. So if I put a 0 in front of the x, it will become 0 and it will go away, which was what happened here. I don't have an x, the x disappeared. So 0x plus 4 is the same thing as y equals 4. Y equals 0x plus 4, because 0 times x is 0, 0 plus 4 is 4, so this all equals 4. So now that it's in slope-intercept form, I can find that b b is 4, using a lot of 4s today. My slope is 0. 0 as a fraction would be 0 over 1, so I'd go up 0 to the right 1, up 0 to the right 1, up 0 to the right 1. And then that makes sense with what we learned before. The y-intercept is 4, the slope is 0. The other way I can think about this is I could say y equals 4 all the time, no matter what x is. So if x is 0, y is 4. If x is 1, y is 4. If x is 2, y is 4. Y always equals 4. For this last one, I'm going to do x equals -2. That one I cannot put in slope-intercept form, but I remember that x always equals -2. So if y is 0, x is -2. Whoops. No, that's right. If y is 1, x is -2. If y is 2, x is -2. So it's going to be a vertical line at x equals -2. So it doesn't have a y-intercept, and the slope is undefined. In the text submission box, I need you to put in y equals mx plus b. So you're just going to type y equals mx plus b in the text submission box.